Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So, tonight's live is about you launching your store. All right. So, that's what tonight is about. And if you're not yet on, I want you to send this to at least two friends that you know wants to launch their store, but for whatever reason have been overthinking it. All right. And there's a reason for that. So if you were like me when I was doing my 9 to 5, you had a lot of concerns, and one of those concerns is that you wanted to leave your 9 to 5. You want to leave your 9 to 5. And the question you ask yourself is, what is the alternative? Right? Where is the money going to come from for you to take care of your family? If you're a mother, your children, so you're asking those questions. What is the alternative? All right. And I know because I've been there. And you you're probably in a 9 to 5 that you enjoy in terms of working with persons and just whatever opportunity, because you may be somebody in a leadership position. So you're training others, so you enjoy that. But then at the same time, you have to deal with politics. Yes, politics, or you have to deal with just the arrogance that comes from certain senior managers, or you have to deal with the frustration of persons not doing what they need to do, whatever it is. So you're feeling a bit stressed. Yeah, you're feeling stressed, and you want to change. You want to change, you desperately want to change, but you're asking the question, what is the alternative? And if that's you, then you're in the right place, right? Why I say you're in the right place? Because I was that person pretty much last year, and I wrote it in my prayer journal. I was that person that was asking, when should I submit my resignation letter? Okay. I had it written down, when should I submit my resignation letter? And I prayed and I asked God, should I submit the resignation letter by a certain time period? So for me, I wanted it. I prayed for it. I was asking, what is the alternative? And that's what you're asking. So for those of you who are going to join on and you don't know who I am, so I'm Andrea Jackson Robinson. I have an MBA for finance manager from the Manchester Business School, which is one of the top ranking master school for the United Kingdom. I also have my first class. I have my bachelor's degree in economics with a minor in accounts. And I have 17 years of experience working in corporate as a senior finance professional. So I was the person that prepared the group CFO business performance report, board reports. I managed the annual operating plan process. I managed the strategic planning process. I was also involved in supply chain control. I was involved in commercial finance, so being able to understand whether or not an activity, an investment that the company decides is returning value for money. I was also involved in determining the price for the products for the multinationals that I worked. And I worked at two multinationals for my 17 years, right? So I have done corporate life, and it was enjoyable in that it gave me a lot of opportunities to learn and to grow. And those training, those development skills is everything that I apply to my business now. So that was my corporate experience for 17 years. Who I am now, I am the co founder of my business, Valentine's Intimates, with my mother, Pauline Valentine. And I've been operating this business for a little over 4 years. So I retired. I left my 9 to 5 May of this year. And yes, while I was doing my 9 to 5, I was managing my business remotely. I had persons working for me. So I know what it's like to be in a 9 to 5 and be asking, should I submit my resignation letter tomorrow? I know what it's like to be asking, what is the alternative? Where is the funds going to come from? And especially if you're in a job that is well paying, it's the reality, it's taking care of your family. I was one of those persons. I was that person, right? And I know what it's like to be running a business while doing your 9 to 5. So, hey, it's possible. Okay. It is very possible. And I left my 9 to 5 because my business was now at the place where I could afford to do so. And I had the support of my husband as well. So I had a target last year in 2022. I needed to sell over $10 million and be profitable. And of course, God's willing, I exceeded that. Now, that came with hard work, that came with going through coaches. I had three different coaches, different consultants that I had employed. One of them I'm still with today. That came with hard work. So there were nights when you're probably in your bed and I'm up at 3 a.m. talking to a supplier in China, all right, because of the time zone difference. So I know what that's like. So I've been there, and at the end of the day, it pays off. So now in 2023, I'm no longer doing my 9 to 5. I'm fully dedicated to my business, and my business is able to sustain me and my family and provide for us. And I'm making more than what I was selling last year. So remember, I told you I had a target of $10 million in sales last year. I'm selling more than that now, and the business is growing. And we're currently in the process of launching another branch in Montego Bay, Kingston, which is at Shop 1349 Union Street in Montego Bay for Valentine's Intimacy. So I know what it's like. I've been on the side where it was just all corporate. It's nice when it's going and it's fun and the team building and the energy. But there comes a point where you just need to say, what next? And you've been asking yourself, what next? You want to launch your store, but you just don't know how. You've been having the idea about, okay, I like clothing, I like hair, different things. I like jewelry, but I just don't know how. And that's why I'm here tonight, because I have had a few conversations with persons that I know that I used to work with, that they have been talking about it for so long and has not done anything about it. But that's not going to be you. All right. It does not have to be you. You have support. You just have to be willing to make an investment and put in the work. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So I'm going to talk to you about my program. It's Launch 45, which is how to launch your store in 45 days. And these are practical steps that I currently apply in my business. I'm using it even now for my Montego Bay branch that I'm launching, and they have worked. I have gone through the ups and I've gone through the down. All right. Now, my program is for women who are faith based. Why? I want to work with women who are faith based because the reality is you're going to have a lot of, you're going to have situation that's going to come at you. And if it is that you have no source, if your faith is weak and you easily give up, if you are not someone that will persevere, this is not for you. All right. This being an entrepreneur, launching your store requires perseverance. Why? You're going to have situation where your worker just decides not to show up to work. And when that happens, how are you going to have to deal with it? You're going to have situation where a contractor, because you're going to renovate your store because you want to have a physical location that persons can come in and feel your products and see the product and engage with you to get the video testimonial, which is something that I talk about in my program. The reality is you're going to have contractors that's changing their price on you. They say one thing and then another time later on they say something else, right? You're going to have situations where even your customers may say things in public that may actually put you in a negative light. How are you going to handle that? Right? So there's going to be quite a few situations that's going to come at you that if you are not someone that persevere, the reality is this is not going to be for you. You're going to give up the first time you start. And if you're not someone that is going to put in the work and be consistent, because I do believe in the scripture and the word that says faith without works is dead. If you start something and because you don't see the results immediately, right now, you decide to throw in the towel, this is not for you. That's not the person I want to work with. I want to work with women in corporate who are ready to launch their store and are willing to give it their all. And of course, that all is going to be that you're going to have support because you're going to need workers to work for you while you continue to do your 9 to 5 and build up your business to the level where you can leave it fully, as I was able to do it. And you have the support of your family. So that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. Launch 45, it is a 30-day program, 1 month program. We start in February 2024. There is a few partners that I have gotten together. Why? Because when you're going to do your business, you need social media, you need the business setup, everything holistically. It's all under one umbrella so that you don't have to go through some of the pitfalls and the headaches that I went through. All right. So, the purpose of this program is to help you to avoid the pitfalls so that it can be less hassling and you don't have to be putting a lot of investment out there. So, let's talk about the program. All right, so now I have 9 strategic pillars that I have done myself, and these are what is covered in the program. So the first one that the program is going to cover is around the business setup strategy. So you're going to answer questions: should you invest in a coach or a consultant or a mentor? And my answer is yes. Why? Because they have done what you want to do. I have done what you want to do. So the lessons and the knowledge, when I invested in my first coach, my first consultant actually, it was around display for the products at my store. Because when I just started, I hired an architect, not the ideal person to hire for a store because they don't know how to sell, right? And then I hired a consultant because a consultant who actually has business knew what it meant to sell product, knew about product placement, etc. Even though I worked with marketing senior members while I was doing my 9 to 5, I was focused on the finance aspect and analyzing the spends, not much intrigued about product placement. So I got that information because I hired a consultant. So the next time I did my second store, we moved from a 300 square foot when we just started, and I was paying 77,000 Jamaican dollars for rent. And then I moved to a 1600 square foot, and I'm paying a little over three times, three times that, a little less than three times that for the rent. Now, when I did that, I didn't hire that consultant again because I now got the knowledge, I applied it, and I made some tweaks based on the things that I saw work better. And I applied my corporate experience to it as well. So, the first information that we're going to talk about in the program when we start in February is around the business setup strategy. We're looking at whether or not you should invest in a coach. My answer is yes. Get the knowledge, build on it. You're going to learn a lot. And this is what the program is about. You're pulling all the knowledge that I have garnered through all the various sources that I have invested in so that you don't have to go through some of the headaches that I went through. All right. The next one is, should you register your business since you're just starting up? So these are questions that we're going to ask. You're going to ask, I'm going to answer them, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, right? The next one is around your social media and your communication process. So that's going to be covered in the business setup strategy. What is going to be your social media strategy and the communication process? Within step 1, within the strategic phase 1, you're going to get access to the partners at special rates, and you're going to also get access to the tools and the methods that I have used and that have worked. These are what I've used for the past 4 years. And I can tell you the business that I have last 2 years ago is more than 100%, more than double what it was then, because I've applied these methods and because I've done it consistently. The second strategic pillar that we're going to look at is our own legal and tax strategy. We're going to talk about copyright versus trademark. There is a whole thing around that that will protect your business when you start, so that you don't have somebody coming down the line 10 years, 20 years and say you need to pull that down. I'm going to also talk to you as to whether or not you should hire someone to file your tax returns, because that's something we're going to have to do when you register the business. We're going to also talk about what are the tax requirements. And I also have a partner coming in here as well for this. And then we're going to apply some of the tried and tested rules that I have done and that has worked. Now, the reality is this program is going to be one where you're going to be given assignments that I've done. And if you do the assignment, you can actually launch your store by the end of the 45 days. This include sourcing your products, getting a physical location, setting up the physical location, because there is a lot of pre-work that starts from even now based on some of the partners that is on board with the program launch 45. All right. Then my third strategic pillar is around branding and marketing strategy. So the questions such as, do you need a website? Do you have to have a website? Questions, do you need to be present on social media? How do you decide on the name for your business? How do you get the business out there so that when you open, people will come and buy at your store location? How do you protect your business name? How often should you post? What should you post? Where should you advertise your business to get the most value for money, to get the highest return on your money? Questions such as, where do you get the money to be able to fund the business? So these are all going to be covered on the branding and marketing strategy. So again, I'm going to be sharing some of the tried and tested tools and methods that I have used in my business. And I'm also going to be giving you some bonuses based on the partners that are with me in this program. Now, my fourth strategic pillar is going to be around product and pricing. Now, this is very important because at the end of the day, you're not going to be a nonprofit organization. I'm not a nonprofit organization. I want to offer the best price for my customers that makes me competitive, which is what you want to do. But at the same time, you want to make a profit that is going to allow you to grow your business and reinvest back in your business. All right. So that is going to be on the product and pricing, which is we're going to talk about how do you decide on what to sell. So I'm going to share you the secret and the process that I went through in deciding on what to sell. We're going to also talk about how do you price your products. So this is based on both my experience as a financial professional. I did a lot on pricing strategy when I was in my 9 to 5 job, which is exactly the same knowledge you're getting. Then we're going to also talk about where to source what you decide on selling. All right. And then that then leads into the fifth strategy, which is around distribution. So in the distribution strategy now, we want to ask the questions that you're going to be getting answers to is, how should you make the customers place orders? And there is one key thing that you need to do just to ensure that you have your customers locked and you can follow up with them as well. The next one is around what payment facility to offer your customers and why, right? Especially as you want to elevate your customers based on the range of products that you want to offer, not just what I call budget friendly, but also premium. So your customers can level up to that level that gives them that highest level of sophistication, comfort, the desires that they want and they aspire to. That's where you want to get them to. We're going to talk about what's the best way to find somewhere to lease. So I'm going to share with you my strategy that I did, the exact steps I took. And then that's something when you apply, you're going to have results. But the question is, are you going to throw in the hat? If that's the kind of person you are, this program is not for you. You don't want to work with me. I don't want to work with you. Because as I said, entrepreneurial, this journey is about perseverance. And if you perseverance, it produces good character and you will learn a lot more. And believe me, it was gonna cause you to grow that you reach a point where You don't stress. You're not worried about him because, interestingly, I had a manager back when I was doing my 9 to 5. And my manager said to me at the time, if the place is not on fire, then it's solvable. So I don't allow nothing, absolutely nothing. If a simple mistake, if a mistake is made, it can be solved. It may not be solved immediately, but it can be solved. So once the place is not burning down, you're not going to stress about it. And that's my mantra. All right. So that's the distribution strategy. Then now we're at sixth strategy that we want to focus on in the program that's going to happen, which is going to give you whether or not your business, your store is value added and is profitable. Yeah. What is your net present value? What is the return on your investment? This is where this comes in. That's a financial strategy. So we're going to do cash flow forecasts. We're going to do financial planning. I'm going to teach you about setting targets and about how to apply lessons. We call them, they're called pre-evaluation and post-evaluation, so that you can change, you can evolve, and your business can grow. All right, so that's a financial strategy. And of course, there's going to be access to partners as well, because I do have a financial partner. The seventh strategy, which for me is very important because it's about making your life simple so that you don't have to spend a lot of time in your business, right? There is a saying that you want to be working on your business and not in your business, so that you can have the mindset and have the vision that is going to cause you to grow your business. All right. So that's the information technology strategy. And in this section, we're going to talk about what IT equipments do you need. All right. We're going to talk about what systems do you need to manage your money, to manage your sales, and to get your daily updates. I'm going to also talk to you about where do you find the equipments that you need. So these are things that it can break you, especially when it comes on to filing returns as well, or it can make you, especially when you want to know you're profitable or not. Because I can tell you, a lot of small businesses are out there, a lot of stores have been launched, and they don't know whether or not they're making a profit. Okay? And that's not the type of business that I run. That's not the type of business that anyone who joins this mentorship program will run. Because at the end of the day, you need to know whether your financials are in good standing, which will then determine whether or not you can comfortably leave your 9 to 5 job. Then for the eighth strategy, so we're coming down, so we're not on for very long, is the human resource strategy. Now, at the end of the day, I believe that your people are your greatest assets, because when you have the right people, the right team, it makes your life easier. You don't have to go to the job, to your store, 8 hours out of the day or more. I don't go to my store 8 hours out of the day. I don't. Because I believe in training my team so that they know what to do. And of course, you're going to have, these are level, much junior level staff that you're probably used to working based on your corporate level and your senior level. But at the end of the day, when you have certain processes in place, which we're going to go through, and I'm going to share those with you, it will make your life so much easier that you can work remotely on your store and still be dedicated to your 9 to 5. And then when you leave your 9 to 5, you're still able to work remotely and not have to worry. Because after all, you're going to have children. If you're like me, you have your children that you have to go and pick up, and you don't want to be stressing, and you want to come home. You don't want to have a caregiver having to take care of your children that you cannot spend time doing work with them, learning, training them, developing them. No, that's not the life you're going to be living. That's not the life God has planned for you. I do not believe that, because God's word said that I know the plans for you, and they're to prosper you and to give you a hope and an expected end. So you have an expectation, and that's God's plan for you. So for the human resource strategy, we're going to talk about how do you get workers, right? How do you train your workers? How to pay your workers? whether or not you should get uniform for your staff and why, what goals should you set for your workers, where do you get the uniform from, workers and third party contracts, etc. All right. So the human resource strategy is going to be end to end so that we cover everything to ensure that when you start your store, you can still not have to stress about your store because you have the right team that is doing it for you. All right. And finally, the ninth strategy is the operations management strategy. So this is about the day-to-day operations. So the operation management is going to talk to you about the daily settlement process that I'm going to share, the delivery process that you need to have, your hiring process, what display units do you need to have depending on what you're going to sell in your store, what does an average day look like from start to finish, what security systems that you need to put in place, where do you source your display units, where do you source your security equipment, and everything that has to do with your operations. So we spoke about your business setup. That's set one. That's your first strategic pillar we're going to start with. And before we start with that, we're going to start with the mindset and just what it is that you want to achieve and what is your belief, what is going to be your source to bring you back when things happen that cause you to, probably you want to cry at night. Yeah. Probably you want to throw in the towel and say, I can't bother. I've had that situation with my business partner as well. What is it going to be that core foundation that when those things happen, your perseverance will still be intact? All right. And then we said business setup strategy. So we want to hit the ground. Then we want to talk about our legal and tax strategy. That's number two. Then number three, the branding and the marketing strategy, because people need to know about your product. People need to know about the value that you're offering them. We want to talk about number four, which is the product and pricing strategy. How do you stay competitive? Number five, your distribution strategy. Number six, the financial strategy that you're going to employ. Number seven, the information technology. Number eight, the human resource. And number nine, the operation management strategy. Now, all of this is going to be done in 1 month. Before that month starts, which is February, there is going to be some early bird special that is being given away, right? So, early bird special around you. I'm going to be having persons that need to set up their tax system for eGov, for the Tax Administration of Jamaica. You don't have to do that because I have a partner on board that's going to give that to the early birds. So you have to be early to make your payment so that they know who are those persons so that you can get that benefit. And it's one less stress to be driving around, I can tell you that, and joining those long lines. Okay? All right. And then now we're going to have early bird special. So one of the partners, you need to source your product in China. The lead time is about 2 months to get products from China. Now, by the end of November, you have December and you have January. So that by the end of January, you have some products potentially from China that you can start with based on your launch 45 starting for February 1. And that is where you want to maximize as well. Now, the reality is, I can tell you there is another program called MVP where you can go to China yourself with the MVP CEO at the Canton Fair and spend 5,888 US dollars. That's not what you're going to be spending because I did not have to spend that much and I got it done and it was done well. All right. Another area for special is around the trademarking, registration, the system setup, everything from start to finish in one place to make it easy for you so that you don't have to go through some of the pitfalls, any at all, that I went through because of the knowledge, the partnership, and the tested methods that I have done that is going to be in this program. So, what's the cost? All right. So the cost for the program, the regular price is 1,497 US dollars. That's the regular price. I have a special until November 26th. The special is 997. So that's 997 US dollars. It is an investment that is going to, believe me, I can tell you, the return you're going to get when you start your store and the source of income and the sales that you're going to make based on the strategies that you will apply is going to far exceed that investment. Far exceed it. And this is something I know because I've done it. And then in addition to that, you're getting a lifetime access. So when I do decide to run this program again, I'm only running it one time next year, which is in February. So once I decide to run this again, you can join on. And the reality is, as you launch stores and as you build the business, you're going to find you're going to learn so many new things, different ways of doing things. That's so much easier versus when you just started, that you will consistently benefit from the program. And also access to a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group that you have persons that you can share and bounce ideas and thought process to really help you move along. Because sometimes you, not sometimes, you do need sometimes that input just to kind of help you to click and go and you get responses. A person can help you along the journey. All right. So I have put the link in the chat. So if this program is someone for you who wants to release from 9 to 5 now and want to start rather than waiting until another 2 years or another year, because I can tell you, and I was, yeah, pleasantly, not very unexpectedly surprised at how things have gotten so much more expensive between when I launched my store just last year, February, last year, September, versus now, right? Like I just did a camera system setup and the cable that is used to connect the cameras. Last year, I paid $32,000. This year, the rate that I'm seeing or being told from the same supplier is 48,000. That's a 50% increase. So the longer you keep saying, oh, I'm going to put this together, I'm going to put that together, the more things are getting expensive. When I started with a 300 square foot. It was a very tiny space. And then as the business grew, we had a lot of products coming in that it became even so hard or difficult for display. So I can tell you, stop delaying, stop overthinking it. The launch, your program, the launch 45, this program is to make it so that you don't have to go through some of the pitfalls. And we're going to go in depth, but you have to put in the work. And if I tell you to do something, this program is not for the sensitive. Okay. So I'm going to be very truthful. If you're very sensitive and you're going to be offended, it's not going to be for you. I don't want to work with those kind of persons. And I'll give you an example. I once had somebody that said to me that because they did not get confirmation, they didn't want that information out there. Now, the reality is they didn't want to share about another business. The reality, if you're doing a business, it's not a secret. Okay. You want your business to be known so that persons can come to your business. So this program, if working with me, is to be open and honest so that you can get the feedback, so that you can do what you need to do and launch your store successfully. Not for the light, the faint at heart. It's for persons who are serious, ready to get their release, wants an alternative to their 9 to 5, and is ready to start. And you just need the right tools, you need the method, you need the processes, you need the physical manuscript, okay? Just to make it simple. So that's it for me tonight. If this program is for you, click the link and you can go ahead and join and make your payment for the early bird. If it is for a friend that you know, the link expires at midnight tonight. Send me an email. It is Andrea at Andrea Jackson Robinson. Join my email listing so you can get more up to date. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow and click the link for the notification bell. So that's it for now. I am excited for all the ladies who are serious and ready and just want to get that alternate source of income. It is that time. This year is the time. We're heading into a very busy Christmas period. I know persons like to spend money during Christmas period. Do not go and spend it on any more changing of furniture or drapery. Start spending it on something that's going to actually give you a better return on your investment versus putting your money in the bank. All right, ladies, that's it for now. Take care. Bye. And share this link with 5 persons, okay?